Hello and a very warm welcome to the live lounge here in Portsmouth, where the action at the Modus Super Series is as red hot as the weather is here on the south coast. May is usually the time of year where the players at the live lounge bring their best, and because of the weather, myself and Scott Mitchell are allowed to wear these short sleeve t-shirts for this evening's action. And if tonight is anything like last night, we're in for a treat.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fast and furious last night. Big averages coming in, big shot outs coming out. Yeah, it was pretty entertaining.
Well, we'll talk a little bit more about the evening action in just a second, but let's begin by talking about what happened this afternoon, because both Richard Rowlands and Devon Peterson confirmed their places into the finals. Devon, real dominant force as far as Group C is concerned. He dominated it from really first start to last.
He pretty much did, but he had a dodgy start. He lost his first game at the start, and I think that really got the chip off his shoulder and the whole trying to go through the card and everything, and then he just turned up on his next couple and then secured it, and then it was just a case of throwing with a bit of freedom, and he dominated that group.
And what about Richard Rowlands? A dramatic 11-dart leg in a decider to seal his place through.
Yeah, Richard was great. I mean, he started off with a 94 average and lost, and then it dropped off to an 84, then a 78 and a 76 or something, and you couldn't see him doing it, and he just scrapped and never gave up and played his pace and was not pushed along. Got himself to 3-3 and, a dream leg at the end, 140, 140, 180 and brought the 41 home for 11-darter, and he then finds himself through.
Indeed he does. This is how the tournament bracket breaks down. If this is the first time you've joined us this week, Devon Peterson and Richard Rowlands join Tommy Mice into tomorrow evening's final. Group B will culminate this evening, where the defending champion, Scott Taylor, is in a very good stead, as too is Andy Davidson, Aidan Kirk. Work to do for both Ashley Coleman and Trina Gulliver this evening.
Yeah, there is, but both have played really well. I just think they've dropped in a group where there are three guys absolutely on it, and they're beating each other up and just taking out anybody that gets in their way.
Well, the game of the night last night was quite simply Andy Davidson up against Scott Taylor. Both players averaging in excess of a ton. Andy Davidson getting over the line with 110 average. All week he has shown us signs of brilliance. This was peak.
It sure was, and he kind of has quite a strange throw, but I spoke to him about it earlier back in the players' room. He says, yeah, it's not conventional, but it works for me, and they go where I want them to go, and he was very pleased with his night's work. On Monday, he was top of Group A on the first day, and he said it unsettled him. He didn't expect that, and he thinks that messed up the rest of his Group A campaign. Well, he's learnt his lesson, and last night he was ready to go and made sure that he was ready to go, and who's going to doubt that he won't make it through as one of those three? He just looks odds on.
Well, it was a real pop moment for him. It was one of the top averages we've seen in Series 7 here at the Live Lounge. In fact, it stands in the top 5 that we have seen so far over the last couple of months. Andreas Harrison, 117.88, the best of the lot. But Andy Davidson came up against Scott Taylor, who himself averaged 104.24, and that was the highest losing average that we have seen so far this series. And Scott Taylor seems to have this theory in terms of playing great players, because he was the one who beat Darryl Pilgrim with that 118 average back in August last year.
Yeah, Scott did mention that in the back room tonight. You know, he has great memories here. When you do that at a venue, you come here feeling very comfortable. And I think Scott Taylor never looks out of his comfort zone here. He looks very comfortable here. Even when he's doing 104 and in trouble, he still looks comfortable. He puts his hands up and goes, yeah, you were slightly better than me today. And what a fantastic outlook on darts to have. And that's why he's the player that he is.
Well, let's have a look at the table then going into night 2 in Group B. As you can see, the defending champion, top of the pile, 3 players on 6 points. Andy Davidson and Aidan Kirk joining there. Ashley Coleman with a solitary win. Trina Gulliver looking to get her first win on the board this evening. Let's talk about Scott then a little bit more. He is the defending champion, but he's somebody that won't let that pressure or expectation drag on his shoulders. He's very humble, very laid back, but somebody that when he gets on that oche, he is just pure business. No histrionics. He gets up there and wants to get the wins.
No, absolutely. He concentrates on himself and himself alone, and he does what he needs to do to make himself work. And it's a lot of things that many players should be looking at and going, yeah, I need to start to do that. And I think if you watch some of the top players in the PDC, they're doing it in exactly the same way. So he's gearing himself for an end of the year, but before that, he's got some work to do here, and he wants to make that Champions Week. But first, he has to get this week done and sorted, and who would bet against him the way that he played last night?
Talking about the betting, let's see what the bookies think about tonight's action. This is to win the group. Scott Taylor, 8-11 favourite. But when you consider that there's 3 players tied on 6 points, is there value on Messrs Davidson and Kirk tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's good value on particularly Kirk, because I mean he, looking at his averages last night, he was the one that was trailing at the top 2 a little bit. So that's really the order where the averages finished last night. But it was Aidan's first time, here, and he was getting used to it. He's only had 4 games there. Tonight, I know he's been around a long time. We've spoken about he's beat Taylor 10 years ago and in events, and so we know he has the pedigree. There's no two ways about it. Had his time out, come back, put in the graft in, and he finds himself here off the back of a very good run in the Challenge Tour. So we know that he's in form. We know that he's in form right now. He's now used to the place because he's been here. And I think that that's quite good value, actually, at that price.
It's 18 plus, biggambleware.org if you're going to have a flutter on the Super Series tonight. Right, our first game of the evening sees Andy Davidson, the ADC qualifier from Edinburgh in Scotland, in action. He takes on the Golden Girl, Trina Gulliver, looking to get her first win to her name. An early one this evening. I caught up with Andy to talk about the week so far. Andy, day 5 for yourself here at the Super Series. You must be really pleased with your week's work so far.
Oh, 100%. I mean, last night was the best I felt on stage by a considerable margin, I have to say. And the 2 games I had in the middle there, wow, I probably don't even practice that well. So for that to come out on the stage, I'm over the moon.
Let's talk about that 110 against Scott Taylor. Is that one of your best feelings in darts?
100%. I just had one of them games because I was a bit disappointed in my first game, missing that many doubles, but I wasn't too disappointed because I know my scoring was there. So I know I was going to give myself chances, just whether I took them, and thankfully I did in that second game.
Did you think you'd adapt this well to this stage as quickly as you have?
I don't think so. I mean, I must admit, let's say first day, as I told you before, I was very, very nervous, I must admit. But say last night was the first time I really felt kind of at home on the stage. So yeah, I just feel nice and relaxed, and again, I'll just see how they go tonight.
Does this give you a taste for more, whatever happens this week at the Super? Does it give you a taste for more, maybe have a look at other competitions via the ADC or elsewhere?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, the ADC has been the best thing, I think, to come into amateur darts. So since the demise of the BDO, I think, the last 2 years, when the ADC tournaments that we get to play, it benefits everybody of every levels, I feel. So with the quick fire format and the group stage, it's the best thing that's happened to darts for me.
And just quickly, back tonight, what do you think you've got to do to get yourself through? And how much, if you did get through, would this be an achievement for yourself to get into Saturday night?
Oh, I'm not thinking about if I can get through or not. It's just, I'll just again see how they go. If it's good enough to get through, fantastic. If it's not, so be it. I've had a fantastic week no matter what happens tonight. So, again, just see how they go.
Well, you've been smiling from the first time. It's great to see that smile still on your face. Andy, good luck tonight.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, he has been the Super Scot of the Super Series over the last few days, and his first assignment on night 5 is the 10-time world champion, Trina Gulliver, the Golden Girl, looking to get her first win to her name. Didn't play bad, not by any stretch of the imagination last night, but this is an ultra-tough group. Davidson, age 28, 4 times played in the UK Open, but now possibly setting his sights to more in terms of the circuit following this week has given him a taste of what could be to come. While Trina Gulliver, MBE no less, 54 years of age from Salvan, 10 times she has climbed to the summit of the sport, and she still has more to give, she feels. I had a chat with Trina earlier on this evening, an interview that's going to be available as part of our Tungsten Talk series on the Super Series YouTube channel over the coming days. So if you haven't done so already, do drop a subscribe to the channel where you'll get first notification on that particular interview and plenty of other darting goodies. And last night, Scott Mitchell, was a night glistening 58. With darting goodies as far as Group B was concerned.
Yeah, absolutely was, and none more so than Andy Davidson. He had a couple of ton toppers, a 160 and a 100 shot out last night, and obviously that mega average, the 110. And I did have a little chat with him downstairs 60. Before we started tonight, and obviously we do a little bit of that, don't we, Henry? A little bit of research as part of the job, and he was telling me, he didn't know where it came from, but he was really comfortable how he felt last 100. Night, and hopes he feels half as good as he did last night, which is, I think, very sensible. I think very sensible from the young 45. Man.
Just want to talk to you about the comments he said in the interview about having that taste of possibly giving the circuit a little bit of a go. In your career, where was that eureka moment where you thought, actually, I'm doing okay locally, but I want to see if there's more to me? Is there a moment where you just think, actually, now I need to really test myself?
Yeah, I'm one of those people that I don't like being told what to do. So I had people after an appearance at the UK Open in 2007 wishing to sponsor me and wanting to see me take on the big
100.
stars. And, I neglected. I didn't really want to do that. So it took me sort of 18 months before we sat down as a family. A little like a scene from Bread with the old China chicken on the table, and we all sat round and between the four of us, Katie, Sam, our two kids, and Sharon and myself, we made the decision to give it a go, and we accepted a couple of sponsors. And in 2008, we jumped on the circuit, and I found myself in the Swedish Open final against Scott Waits on one of my first attempts. So, yeah, the rest is kind of history from there, really. But I didn't believe it until I actually got there.
And now you get to spend your Friday night sat in a commentary box and watching Andy Davidson go 1-0 up with a 66 out, cleanly taken in the end. Leg one in the leisure for the Scots. You actually look at the numbers for Trina last night. She didn't play bad at all, but I suppose when you're in a group such as this and a calibre such as this, there's always going to be one player that might just get found wanting a little bit.
Yeah, they can. But what I will say about Trina yesterday, when she got her chances, she took the legs.
45.
She never gave legs up yesterday. When the legs offered an opportunity to win one, she was taking them. And I think
140.
the defeats are easy to look at and feel bad about. But I think the positives for her, the way that the game has changed for her in the last 4 years, to be up there throwing some
81.
nice stuff, and like I say, she's happy in her own self and enjoying every time that she goes to play now, rather than it being a chore. And
140.
I can see her just reinventing herself and kind of getting better and pushing and moving that consistency and that average up.
100. And you require 81.
Talking about pushing through the levels, Davidson double 12 for an 11 dart leg would be the breaker throw and a 2-0 lead.
57.
But he is going to come back for other opportunities. The average at the moment, 97.8 after the first leg and a bit.
85. And you require 24.
Move himself halfway there. Double 12. Now that's a blocker. But he manages to find a way of crashing off the barrel of the second and in.
But he didn't realise it was in until he got about one stride away from the board because he wasn't sure. But yeah, you mentioned he was up around that 97 average. I did a little bit of calculating from last night's games, and he actually ran a 97.40 for the evening last night. Obviously helps when you have that big 110. But that's mighty impressive indeed.
70.
Wry smile there as he misses 2 in the 20 segment.
So typical when you mentioned the good averages of him from the night before.
Yeah, but going back to what we said about Trina there, she then punished the shot with a 140.
125. $40. 100.
Ton here for Davidson. We'll move him first to a finish after 12. But Trina could put herself in a position here with a decent score to leave herself on a 2-darter. Ton leaves herself on 96.
60.
Couldn't quite do that.
Require 125.
Players on a ton topper. What can Davidson make of the 125? Not pinning on this occasion. But what we have seen from Trina here in the past of the Super Series is his ability to find key ton plus checkouts when they've mattered. And this 136 is at a key time of the match. It's not going to go. And so Davidson is back for a 3-0 lead.
60.
And he's going to have 3 at tops to
40.
do exactly that. In it goes. It's a solid performance so far from the Scot. 92.02. 3 from 8 on the doubles. He is starting tonight as he means to go on.
First. Game on.
Win that'll move him on to 8 points. And actually, the way things go with the first 3 games this evening, Aidan Kirk taking on Ashley Coleman, and then Trina back out to play Scott
60.
Taylor. If the 3 top players at the beginning of play win their first matches, they'll all move on to 8 points, and they'd open up a 6-point buffer from Ashley Coleman, who occupies 4 spots, and Trina Gulliver would be mathematically out of the equation.
Yeah, absolutely. And
59.
Trina's there doing she's on 82 average earlier. She's not playing badly here. Just dropped off with that
60.
last score to just under 80, but 27 average in old money is not a bad effort at all. Go on, Trine.
180.
Well, those are the glimpses we were talking about. And we do see it in spells,
85.
but Trina, yes, she's philosophical about where she is with the game, but if she can string it all together, there is still one more real big achievement you feel in the locker.
Yeah, definitely. And we in context of this group, I think I'd have found it difficult in this group. Let's not put it mildly. This has been a really, really tough group. And she's been in the group and she won legs.
97.
She's won legs in all of her games. She's played particularly well.
$134.
And there's my point in question. And now she's got herself a chance. And last night, she gave herself a chance to win a leg.
Trina, you require 40.
I don't want to commentators curse it. I really don't.
Game
Good
shot
girl.
on full
Thank you,
flag,
darling.
Trina Gulliver.
Yeah, lovely. Every time she gets one. Absolutely.
Well, Gulliver
Fifth
brings
flag,
it back
it's
to
Andy to
3-1, and what
throw
she
first.
does do here
Game on.
is force Davidson to serve it out in the 5th. That's sometimes the least you can do when you find yourself in a position of a
36.
deficit. And it has to be said that there has been a little bit of a drop-off from the Scot in the last leg and a bit. And actually, Trina's moving the numbers towards a little bit more of an even kilter. A couple of legs ago, there was about a 12-point swing in the averages. Now, there's less than a point and a half between the pair.
And this is all to do with the pressure that
97.
Trina has put in Andy Davidson under. She started to hit a few scores. She's started to hit a few more scores.
140.
She's got her eye in now as the golden girl.
60.
These two feel like ships passing in the night at this particular moment in time. Gulliver just upping the levels as Davidson's just receding somewhat.
140.
Hitting trebles off the lamppost right now is Gulliver.
Gulliver 100, 140, 140 this leg.
174.
For her 9
Trina,
darts.
you require 120.
Very rude there from Davidson. She's going 11 or treble, surely. Or she's going the 8 route.
53 left will leave herself
81.
tops after 12 upon
Andy, you require
her return. If there is a
134.
return, there will be, because Davidson goes above with the first dart on the 1-3-4. So
58.
Gulliver to get the
Trina
break
require
to bring it
40.
back to 3-2. She'd then have the darts to send it to a decider.
Game
And
shot
once
on the
again,
fifth
when she
flag,
gets
Trina
an
Gulliver.
opportunity at a double, she is taking full advantage.
Absolutely.
Sixth
3-0,
flag,
that
it's
was
Trina
looking
to
like
throw
it could have been a
first.
rout.
Game on.
Gulliver now averaging just shy of 90. And it's going to go over that with this score.
140.
Up to 91. Davidson,
48.
88 and a bit.
Talking earlier on this evening, Trina was
50.
very much trying to downplay this evening, but I don't think we're going to allow her to do that any longer the way that she's been
125.
playing in this opening game, particularly after those first couple of legs. And look, even if she doesn't make it through, what she
60.
can do is play that role of spoiler, and maybe if she's unable to make it out of it, stop somebody else from doing so.
100.
And you know the guys in the back room are watching this going, yeah, here we go.
But I feel like it's a group
60.
that there's almost an expectation that whoever you play, whenever you play them, that something big's going to come back at you no matter how well you play. But that kind of group.
140.
Yeah, I agree. Last leg Gulliver was hitting those. Now she's a millimetre away.
57. Andy, you require 88.
Now Davidson for the match. May well just be a dart of the bullseye. It's not even going to be that. Chase the treble, paid the price.
33.
And
Trina, you require
sagging into the single one with the last
134.
dart means that if Gulliver doesn't take this 1-3-4 out, he's going to have to spurn a dart upon his return. And so it's only going to be 2 match darts at tops when he comes back for a win that'll put him on to 8 points in the group.
94.
And we'll strike the first
Andy, you
key
require
blow
55.
for the top 3. Tots for Davidson. Double 15 now. Yes, the other side, Dandy. Come on, down we go. Double 15.
40.
And now Gulliver's got a chance to take us all the
you
way.
require 40.
She has indeed. She hit it twice.
Game shot on the 6th leg.
She's
Trina
hit
Gulliver.
43 times now.
We go all the way. Gulliver fighting back to
7th
take
and
us to a
final
last
leg.
leg,
It's
which
Andy to
Davidson
throw
will have the
first.
darts in.
Game on.
But from 3-0 to the good, Gulliver has mustered something
55.
tangible to take us to a last leg. And that 55 start for the Scot has opened up the door for Trina.
95.
Not often that we see the 3-0 reverse scoreline. It happens around about roughly once a week, so it's a 1 in 104
96.
chance pretty much as a ratio and fraction.
$80.
Oh, that's unfortunate. A genuine bounce out as well. Not what was needed at this time when you're against the darts.
45.
But she has dodged a bullet there.
Well, Andy's been given half openings, but then allowing Trina to open the door herself, and
140.
that time 40 means that she's taken the darts.
And that's her 6th ton 40 of this match as well. The scoring has been right on point here.
99.
6 darts for the match from 3-0 down. Trina Gulliver has the game in the palm of her hands. But those 2 dragging below are not helpful for her. Chasing the treble 20
60.
and almost finding the treble 20.
$99. Trina, you require 126.
For the match and for the comeback win. Isn't going to go. And so Davidson's going to have a crack at the 107. All about leaving it as handy as she possibly can, but she's going to have to find a treble now. Simple as that.
24.
And she hasn't,
Andy,
so
you
it's
require
now
107.
opportunity knocks for Davidson. And double 16.
Game shot and the match. Andy Davidson.
What a shot, though. I love the way that he gave a wry smile to Trina. And what a comeback it was from Trina Gulliver. Andy Davidson wins 4-3 in an absolute thriller in the last decider. And those are the averages. 86.40 for Davidson, 4 from 11. And that 107, his ton topper, very, very crucial. We'll be taking a short break, and when we come back, we will have Aidan Kirk versus Ashley Coleman.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180. He's gone for the maximum. $18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull.
That's a great first out from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Skate. Oh,
Can you believe it? That is unbelievable. Match starts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out, that's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Bosh.
Pie Face is through. He gets
And he's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that Pie Face dominated throughout.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Andy Davidson got the better of Trina Gulliver in our last leg decider, 4-3. Our second match of the evening session sees Captain Kirk come to the hockey. Aidan Kirk up against the Prince of Darkness, Ashley Coleman. You could say it's a little bit of a fairy tale fixture, which is something that Aidan Kirk has been writing recently. He's a established children's author, but perhaps most famously known for that victory against Phil Taylor at the UK Open back when he was 22 years of age. Fast forward another 10 years, the man from Ilkeston is looking for more success. He's had a really good start to the year on the PDC Challenge Tour, up against Ashley Coleman, who's looking to establish his name on those particular circuits over the next 12 months or so. Made his debut at that particular tournament earlier on this year. Well, as far as Aidan Kirk's year is concerned, he finds himself third on the Challenge Tour Order of Merit. Remember, the top 2 players get the tour card at the end of the year. And because of Danny Jansen's positioning in the Development Tour, top of that particular table as well, if the year was to stop now, he would be a tour card holder at the beginning of 2025. That's the type of season that he has had so far. And he showed that, didn't he, in yesterday's play?
55.
Yeah, he did, and I just don't want the season to stop now because I'm at number 25 in that ranking as well. So I'd like to get inside the top 16. So I've only got to go back to the last 4 days of Q School. But yeah, I understand exactly where you're going. He's had a sensational start to that Challenge Tour season,
100.
and it's funny what momentum does in that Challenge Tour. It gives you confidence there, and it gives you confidence everywhere. But now guys have had a chance to come
44.
back and have a look at those rankings. They play you a little bit different at Challenge Tour when they see you're right up there at number 3, and they look at it and go, oh no, I've got Kirk, he's up at number 3, and they play you slightly differently. I've been at that top of that Challenge Tour, and it happens. It goes 59. One or two ways. They either fold against you or they absolutely bring their world EA game against you. So it's one of those things, but
80.
He's dealt with it very well, and that's really what's got his invite here. His impressive performances at the Challenge Tour.
And here's a meritocracy system here.
100.
The Super Series is basing you a
126.
lot of it on results from elsewhere. If you top a particular ranking tables, you are going to find yourself with an invite sent
56.
through the post. Well, not literally through the post, but an invite nonetheless. Well, Davidson won the game against Gulliver 107. Can Kirk kickstart this game with a ton? Double 10 to do so.
80.
Not to be, and so Coleman's got the break opportunity
70.
on 70. Needs to get off to a quick start tonight. But he cannot get the
54.
first leg break in the
You
leisure.
require 20.
The first 2 darts were good. The last one
On
was
the
a bit
first
loose and
leg,
wayward,
Hayden
but
Kirk.
gives Aidan Kirk a chance to come back. And like you say, when you're in the form that he's in, you don't miss those
Second leg,
opportunities.
it's Ashley to throw first. Game on.
I feel it's a must-win game for Coleman here. He's got to get himself back into this.
96.
If he has any inhibitions of stealing one of those top 3 places, he's going to have the night of his life, you would imagine.
I know we have a lot of
96.
banter with you about your World Championship win in 2015, but Aidan's in a similar position where everybody knows him for that one achievement.
45.
Do you sometimes want to, or try to prove yourself again to just show that the one thing we talk to you about or
96.
talk about somebody about isn't just based on that one thing, it's based on a multitude of things?
Yeah, I think you do. I think, and the longer it goes on, where you don't sort of win something big or do some sort of achievement, you know, it plays on your mind more than anything. But I think
97.
Aidan's in a different place where, you know, he's obviously gone off and done other things. You know, wrote a children's book, and now he's coming back and concentrating on darts again. And I think, you know, this is the start for him at the moment. This isn't the end. This is the start of the rebirth for him.
60.
And I think for him, I think he's forgotten all that stuff that was before. He's drawn a line in the sand and stepped over it, and that was the old Aidan's life, and this is the new one. So
Aidan, you require 152.
there's a touch of that goes with it. There's no two ways about it. You don't want to be known for one thing. You don't want to be known for being the serial runner-up. So even though probably you get remembered for one thing, it's better to be remembered than not having won anything at all.
Aidan, you require 94.
Better to be remembered as a somebody than not being known as a nobody at all.
Well, it's funny. I mean, how do you think Tony O'Shea was 3 times runner-up at Lakeside, and he's known as the bridesmaid, and yet he's won so many tournaments and so many other things, and, you know, World Cup singles for England and everything else, which is like a World Championship because every country's got a representative there. In the WDF side of things, but every first mention and every announcement is 3-time runner-up at the World Championship, and it must drive him insane.
Well, Tony does watch this programme a lot, and if you are tuning in, Tony, first of all, hope you're well,
45.
and belated happy birthday wishes to yourself from yesterday. And on the subject of birthday messages, I sound like Terry Wogan on Radio 2 now as Kirk hits a max. Happy birthday to the asset, Paul Nicholson. His birthday today.
100.
And I tell you what, a couple of birthdays, a couple of maxes, and suddenly this game is kick-starting into life.
96.
Mr. Mardle's birthday as well today.
We're going to have another maximum here then.
Oh, no, I mentioned the wrong one.
Well, Ashley did miss.
60.
Yeah, great darting birthday day, it's fair to say.
48.
If it is your birthday, let us know in the chat room. We will give you a birthday shout-out.
70. Aidan, you require
138 for Kirk. Isn't going to go. Coleman will return for the 146, and it's going to be under some severe pressure. Coleman may have to take this out.
90. Ashley require
As Kirk leads himself on a single to double combination. The 146 for Coleman isn't going to be pinned, and so
90.
moving himself 2-1 up, and to keep close order with throw, Kirk wants 48. Single for double.
16.
Not to be, and so Coleman
Ashley
gets that
require
tangible
56.
break chance that he needs at some point in this match. But he's going to have to spurn one. It's only one at double 16.
24.
And unlike early on in the
Aidan, you
week where
require
he's had
32.
those last darting hands on tap, he hasn't been able to conjure something up.
Game shot on
And
the
Kirk
third
steps
leg,
in at
Aidan
long
Kirk.
last. He leads 2-1.
Fourth flag. It's Ashley to throw first. Game on.
Coleman won't be too concerned at this particular moment in time, and I think he's showing that with his first visit, 177. You know, pretty much gone with throw. Captain Kirk winning 2-1 up.
140.
Figo always says the best leg to
43.
break in is the 5th. So if you can hold here and then take it in the next one, he'll then have the darts for the match.
100.
But Kirk is putting the Coleman darts under severe pressure here. And conversely, if Kirk can break here, he will have the darts for the match.
57. 100.
Aiden's putting in legs that are just always going to ask questions of your opponent.
43. Aiden, you
No
require
matter what the opponent is,
161.
and that's why he is doing so well at the Challenge Tour. His first 9 scoring pack is
56.
very, very good.
Now, we spoke about that possibility of
99.
the top 3
Aiden,
all
you
being on
require
8 points. Well, we
105.
could be 2/3 of the way there if Kirk can win this particular match. Let's look at it. Treble 19 to leave double 14 there after the
49.
first dart.
Ashley, you
Will
require
leave himself on
82.
56 if Coleman can't pin the 82. And he's not going to, and so Kirk's going to have a couple of darts here to
58. Aiden, you require
break the throw
56.
to lead 3-1 and then have the darts for the match. Double 18. Nice guide.
Get
Is
shot on the
followed,
fourth flag,
and it's
Aiden
3-1 Kirk. And the captain has the darts for the match.
I was doing a bit of number crunching before this one, and
Fifth
last
flag.
night
It's Aiden to
Aidan
throw
Kirk was
first.
running just under
Game
an
on.
85 average for the evening. He had a really good start and sort of tailed off towards the end of the evening, but
140.
Coleman actually was running an 88.48 yesterday and found himself
58.
a couple of places below Aidan in the rankings, and it once again shows in the table that it's all about points on the board. It's all not about the averages.
46.
We don't give you points for averages. We give you points for winning games.
Isn't it perhaps ironic the fact that Ashley
40.
Coleman going into today averaged 88.5 for the night and found himself outside of a qualification position, whereas earlier on today, Brandon Weston had a sub-70 average for the day and found himself in a qualification
96.
spot.
He was actually running overnight a 67.5 average, and he was in second position. While Devon overnight was running an 89.97.
But doesn't it show that sometimes darts is all about timing?
Again, it's about opportunities, and opportunities getting presented to Weston, and he was taking them.
83.
Kirk here,
Aiden, you
39
require
for the match
39.
and for a 4-1 victory. Double 16 just. But
shot,
double
and the
16
match,
is found
Aiden
for
Kirk.
14 darter to move himself onto 8 points in the group. And Aiden Kirk and Andy Davidson have put themselves in a very good position now to progress through to the finals. If Scott Taylor can beat Trina Gulliver before the break, the top 3 will be on 8 points, and they'd have a 6-point buffer from Ashley Coleman, and Coleman would only have 6 more points to play for.
Super Series champion, Scott Taylor.
That man claimed the crown last time he was here, Scott Taylor, and he is hoping to become just the second player to win it twice in a row. And he's come dressed as you, Scott Mitchell, this evening. Here's Scott Taylor as he takes on Trina Gulliver in our third game of the evening session. I've got a lot of questions about that shirt. I'm hoping that Paul Nicholson was with me this evening because there's a lot to devour in that one, isn't there, Scott?
There does seem to be, yes. And hey, look, I like the idea of having a sweet little moo cow on your shirt. Nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot to discuss about that, but there's plenty to discuss this evening. Before the break, Aidan Kirk beat Ashley Coleman by 4 legs to 1. And so game 3 sees the return of Trina Gulliver. Now, as far as Trina is concerned,
it's Trina to throw first.
well, any small chance she's got of making it through, she's going to have to rely on a win in this particular match. If Scott Taylor wins, then you sense that it's virtually pretty much done because Davidson, Kirk and Taylor would all be on 8 points respectively. And then Coleman would be on 2, and he'd only have 6 more points that he could get. And if Davidson were on the next, then everybody would be through. In fact, it'd be a very rare feat that it'd be a 3-way swing in terms of qualification.
30.
Q Yed.
Answers on a postcard, please. I'm not sure I understand that one. Trina Gulliver, I'll get that one.
So we've had someone say to us, and we've had communication that it's actually Lancashire dialect.
57.
So apparently it's from someone who came from West Horton in Bolton, which is where Scott resides, and it is quite literally a translation of cow's head.
140.
So where does the saw come into that then?
I've got no idea.
100.
Do you know what? I thought I saw everything in darts, but I've seen it all now.
140. Scott, you require 104.
104 for the first leg for Taylor. The treble 8 left to 180, so went tops. Gulliver back for 66 to lead 1-0. Double 18, and we know how good Gulliver's been in terms of taking opportunities, but cannot take this one. And so the champion is back for the break of throw and to win the first leg. Tops. In it goes, 1-0 Taylor. Now, we've got more to this particular story, Scott. It's like news at 10 here. So, apparently, according to local legend in the Lancashire area, that they apparently mysteriously found a cow's head stuck in a 5-iron gatepost. Or 5-wire gatepost.
A 5-bar gate.
That's it, yeah.
For goodness, you townie. So from what we're hearing is they tried to then saw the rung of the 5-bar wooden gate to get the cow's head out, but they made a mistake and sawed the cow's head. So we're not talking in the last few weeks, people, so don't get carried away here. We're talking like a bit of a fable from years gone by.
100.
Folklore. So it doesn't help the look of farmers to make it realise that he didn't realise he was sawing the head and not the gate.
95.
That's not helping my intelligence here in this situation.
Can I confirm, Scott? I need to confirm this. for animal welfare reasons. You haven't done that, have you, on the farm?
41.
No, and no. Yeah, no cows or farming people were hurt here at the Super Series for the sake of Scott Taylor's shirt.
86.
I'll tell you what, Scott, thank you so much for giving us an amazing talking point tonight.
But what does that mean? Does that mean that Scott Taylor's nickname is Cow's Head?
46.
Well, he hasn't got a nickname.
He definitely has now. I'm going to be calling him Cow's Head every time I see him.
90.
Yeah, I wouldn't go saying that to Scott's face, Scott.
Honestly, he's laid back. He won't mind.
He's a good guy, Scott. Real nice guy. One of those that
85.
just goes
Scott,
up there,
require
gets on
56.
with the game. There's no histrionics. Tops for 2-0. Tops
on
it
a
goes for
second leg,
2-0.
Scott Taylor.
And he is that type of player. I mean, even when he won the title, he was so proud of the achievement, so proud of
throw first. Game on.
winning the title. But again, he's one of those players that he won the title, fantastic, but it's on to the next one. There's always that
60.
constant drive. And
I mean, I agree. I mean, fair play to Cow's Head for winning it. He has just poked himself in the eye with the
25.
flight there, I think, on his drawback. He's having a bit of an we're having a bit of an entertaining game here. Poor Scott. I hope he doesn't watch this one back.
43.
We may never see this shirt again, you know.
I'll tell you what, if he watches this back and he hears what we've been saying, he might be in a bad mood.
25.
He could well be.
$95.
Well, now he's letting the darts do the talking.
108.
Soaring through this match.
$95.
Well, the reigning Super Series champ up against the 10 times world champ. It's a battle of the champions in this
98.
particular encounter. But Gulliver here, Onfo's got the opportunity to bring it back to 2-1.
$62. $133.
Well, he's one of those players that will do
146.
exactly whatever he can to leave himself on tops. And that 1-3-3 setup has done exactly that. Gulliver can't take out the 1-4-6. And so Scott will return for
100.
tops to
Scott, you require
make it
40.
3-0, get the double breaker throw, and to then throw for the match. Double 10. Doesn't
20.
go, and it presents an
Green, you
opportunity for
require
Gulliver,
46.
who's had a solitary dart at the double so far in this match. Tops.
Bit of a wild one. Takes a step back.
6. Scott, you require 20.
For the double break and 3-0.
Game
In
shot
it
on the
goes,
third
and
leg.
Taylor
Scott
moves
Taylor.
one away from the victory post.
Fourth flag. It's Scott to throw first. Game on. $96.
I'll tell you what,
45.
let's get our social media friends involved in all of this. What's the craziest shirt you've ever seen on a dartboard?
58.
You ever seen on an hockey or a big stage? Or tweet us at MSS Darts and we'll send some of the best ones in. And
9.
do attach those images as well.
$90.
Craziest dart shirt. Can you think of some weird ones from over the years?
Why are you looking at me?
Well, considering that you once walked on with a lead for an invisible dog, I'd imagine there's some craziness there
59.
somewhere.
Well, I suppose my current shirt has tractor tyre marks on it up the front.
Ironically, that was what the farmer in that shirt
99.
needed, was a tractor to try and get that cow out of that particular predicament. Anyway, Taylor 158 for the match and a
60.
4-0 victory here
What you
against
require,
Gulliver.
158.
He's got 6 from here, at least 6.
Sorry if you've just joined us. This is not Radio 4's farming hour. We talked about cows and tractors.
134.
What a visit that was again for Taylor.
Well, it hasn't been a peak Taylor performance, but it's one nonetheless that's going to
41.
get him over the line now.
What you require,
He's got all the
24.
time he wants at double 12. He only needs the
Big shot.
one,
And
and
the
it's a
match,
4-0
Scott
win for the
Taylor.
champ. Scott Taylor is up and running. Well, it's an intriguing shirt, but it was a very good performance from the man from Bolton. He gets the better of Trina Gulliver by 4 legs to 0. 87.13 the average, 4 from 7 on the doubles. Coming up after the break, Ashley Coleman up against Andy Davidson. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, the defending champion Scott Taylor put himself in a position where he looks like he's pretty much there, getting the better of Trina Gulliver by 4 legs to 0. And if Andy Davidson can beat Ashley Coleman here, well, we will confirm all 3 finalists in one fell swoop, because Coleman would then only be able to move on to 6 points. Kirk, Davidson and Taylor all on 8 points. Davidson move on to 10. Taylor and Kirk move on to stay on 8. And we know the 6 players with 6
First
games
leg,
left
it's
to
Ashley
play.
to throw first.
We said there was a
Game
fear
on.
that it could all be over quite early this evening. If Kirk can win, those fears will become reality.
99.
He's got to leave it all out there now, hasn't he, Coleman?
Yeah, he really has, but
55.
Like we said, it's been a very tough group. It's kind of been those three and the rest.
139.
Banging in the big moments and the timing in the right places. And
56.
Andy said he wasn't going to think about Saturday night this evening, but when you're in that position where you know you can win and send yourself through, no matter what you're saying in your mind,
require 167.
You're going to be thinking about it, aren't you?
yeah, of course. And
99.
although we know who the qualifiers will be, we won't know where they will slot into their
98. Ashley
group
requires
positions.
68.
That will all depend on positions in the table. So there could still be some
36.
movement between the three of them, who goes where, because there's a bit of playing each other to do before the end. Davidson plays Aidan Kirk right at the
Ashley requires
tail end,
52.
and
Game shot on the first
Davidson's
leg.
still got
Ashley
Scott
Coleman.
Taylor as well to come. Kirk has got Scott Taylor to come, so there's
Second leg. It's Andy to throw
still
first.
plenty of
Game on.
action to be had, and yo-yoing within the top three in the table.
100.
Well, Coleman takes the opening rubber of this particular contest, this must-win contest for him to
60.
keep any flickering hopes alive. Just to keep the flame going for as long as he possibly can.
96.
As I say, do get involved at MSS Darts. Best dart shirt you've ever seen on a big stage.
60.
I was having a little chat with Andy Davidson earlier about being in Edinburgh, and he's pretty much in the centre of town, and he says there's not a big dart fraternity really in the centre of town. You've got to probably go a little bit north, and obviously we played British Internationals just north, and Glenrothes and Kirkcaldy, the home of Jockey Wilson, and up round that area, a darting hotbed.
100. Andy require 40.
North of the border, but
Game shot on his second leg. Andy Davidson.
Well, he gets one back, Davidson. Levels this match up at one apiece.
Third leg. It's Ashley to throw
On a
first.
4 that he needs, that will seal his place through, set everybody's place through to the finals
45.
tomorrow night. Would mean that the 6 would be confirmed with 6 games left to go on this Friday
100.
evening. However, of course, not just as their positions in terms of jostling for tomorrow night, but there is a financial incentive as well, because
60.
positions make prizes now here at the Super Series. So the top place player will get more than the second place player, and so on and so forth for
140.
their efforts over the course of this Group B campaign.
96.
yeah, the financial incentive certainly keeps the players playing right to the very end.
93. Andy require 161.
Davidson's got 6 on 161 to get the breaker throw
54.
and to move himself 2-1 in front. He's going to leave himself on 107, a finish he took out to win his game against Trina Gulliver earlier on this
96.
evening.
Andy require 107.
Could be a case of rinse and repeat. Double 16. He does it
Shot on the
again.
Third leg. Andy Davidson.
Nothing sweeter than a repeater, to quote the great Chris Murphy. And Davidson leads 2-1.
Fourth flag. It's Andy to throw first. Game on.
2-ton plus shutouts from him last night. Last night's was a 160 and a 100. And tonight, 2 107s for Davidson.
43. 95.
See from that angle that Davidson's darts going just below flat.
100.
Very Taylor-esque, not quite as low as Taylor.
Is that the perfect dart?
100.
I think it is for him, yes, and he used it perfectly there as well. Lovely bit of camera work there, and you can see that Coleman
60.
has to do it the other way round and be above the treble.
140. 94. Andy
Well,
require
this for a 3-1 lead. He's severely outscoring Ashley in this game.
97.
Ashley's only had 4 visits of a ton or more, whereas by contrast, Davidson's had 11 of them and now finds himself on double 12 to move 3-1 in front. And 3-1 in front he is as it sneaks into the bottom corner. He's 3 from 6 on the outer ring, a 16 darter there, and it means that we are now within a whole leg, one solitary leg of every single picture being painted in this group. And if Coleman cannot complete the comeback charge, Davidson, Taylor and Kirk will be safely through to tomorrow night's final.
$100.
Coleman's not going away, but
140.
nor is Davidson.
Well, he's averaged 98.15 in this contest.
85.
Playing to the numbers that he played at last night.
97.
Yeah. Very much so. A referee Jack there called 97, and Davidson wasn't sure that it was actually in the treble until he got to the board.
Well, now Ashley Coleman is in last chance saloon, has to take the 116 out. Isn't going to. And so Andy Davidson steps forward for double 14 to send not just one player, not just 2 players through, but all 3 into Saturday night's final. And Ashley Coleman will be eliminated from the mix. Andy Davidson on debut will head through to finals night. That is a look of a very relieved man and a very happy man as well. And what a performance to seal the deal for him. 96.83, 4 from 9 on the doubles. And that confirms what we now know. Davidson, Taylor and Kirk through. 10 points, 8 points, 8 points. Coleman now can only get to 6. Himself and Trina Gulliver will now be jostling for position to see who will finish 4th and get that financial bonus of that. Coming up after the break, Scott Taylor and Aidan Kirk will go toe-to-toe.
Well, it's a big welcome back here to the live lounge and the Modus Super Series here in Portsmouth, and we're 4 games down this evening. And if you've just joined us, you missed Ashley Coleman going down 4-1 to Andy Davidson, and that's pretty much decided the 3 qualifiers from Group B. We know which 3 they're going to be now, and we don't know what order yet. So this corresponding fixture last night was a 4-0 win for Scott Taylor, and I don't see it being that tonight. Scott Taylor had a 95 average in that game, and Aidan Kirk just shy of a 92 and ended up with diddly squat from the game. So he'll be trying to put his mark down, and these two were practicing together last night and playing
99.
varying games on the board in the back room when I came in to have a chat with them last night, and they're good buddies and know each other quite well. And
140.
I think now that the things are decided, we could now start to see some throwing with freedom,
57.
some really good averages, but there's not that. They've got the pecking order to decide for the group, and not only that, they don't want to start getting beaten by each of their mates
100.
before finals night tomorrow.
Well, I never ever thought I'd say this in a darts match, Scott Mitchell, but I'm going to say this.
59.
This game is a battle between a man who on his shirt is talking about a folklore tale about a cow's head being sawed off up against a player who once wrote a book about Rusty the old bicycle.
132.
True, I was thinking along the Captain Kirk lines of beam me up Scotty, but that's fair enough. I don't know what's
57.
goes between your
Scotty
ears,
required
young man,
46.
but that's what I was thinking. I cannot give her any more, Captain. She will blow, she will blow.
26.
Taylor doesn't blow the opportunity there because he's going to come back for more. Kirk hasn't quite got out the traps as
99.
quickly as the defending
Scotty
champion.
required 20.
Double 10 to get himself up and running. Can he nudge across? Yes is the answer.
Gets on a first
And the
leg,
champion
Scott Taylor.
is up and running.
Gesticulates because it took him 3 darts to get it.
Second leg, it's Aidan to throw first.
It's all about
Game
the
on.
visit. It's an 18 dart throw. Yes, it could have been a 16. Yes, it could have been a 17, but it's an 18. You've won the leg.
32.
You put the point on your side, Cow's head. Let's get on with it.
Well, the thing is, Bo Grease did it so well in the week that she won,
60.
in the respect that her doubling may not, in terms of numbers, look as good as maybe it should have been, but her visit functionality was pretty much perfect. So if in a visit she had 2 darts and a
140.
double, she'd take it out within the 2. Same with 3 darts. Because she wasn't wasting visits with darts at double.
No, and she doesn't. And I think
45.
that's what makes her so good. And that's a lesson to all.
140.
Such a nice relaxed throw of Aidan Kirk. Got himself a little bit more of a flickering movement as the dart leaves the
60.
hand.
Yeah, we mentioned his throw last night when I was here with Chris Murphy in commentary, and it is absolutely
59.
just so lethargic. He's like he's in his armchair. It really is rhythmically so smooth. There's no movement of the body. It really is the only
100.
movement is from the
Aidan
elbow.
required
And
130.
if you were going to teach somebody how to throw a dart, you would put a picture of Aidan Kirk right up there, show them the video and go, I want you to try and replicate this.
83.
Well, it's been a game of compare and contrast in the fact that the player who's had the darts at the beginning of a leg has absolutely dominated the leg that they've thrown first in. Taylor did so in leg 1, Kirk is doing so in leg 2, but
139.
Champ applies some
Aidan
pressure,
required
leaves himself on a
47.
2-darter if the 47 doesn't go.
Game shot
But
on a
he's
second
pinned
leg.
perfectly
Aidan Kirk.
by the captain to square proceedings up at 1 apiece.
Third leg, it's Scott
And
to
it's,
throw
it is,
first.
you know, I've
Game
been
on.
to football matches and I'm a football fan. I've been to Premier League games and I've been to non-league games. And when you see a guy
43.
kick a football in the Premier League, it seems to go a mile with no effort. It's so majestic. The timing, the rhythm, when they're passing it from one side of the
100.
field to the other is amazing. And then you go to a non-league and this guy is absolutely clubbing the ball to death to try and get it to go the same distance. It's classy, isn't it? What we're seeing from
123.
Aidan Kirk. The whole throw looks very classy, and it's no surprise that he's doing what he's doing at the Challenge Tour, and I really do think this is the beginning of a really nice comeback for him.
By the sounds of it, you want my Spurs-Burnley game tomorrow, Scott?
85.
Absolutely not a problem.
I'll sun myself down the beach then tomorrow afternoon before
59.
coming in.
You probably have to help me with some of the pronunciations.
Son. Taylor assessing his options. 75 scored. 57 leans himself on 118 after 12. Kirk needs another treble to leave himself on a finish and find another treble he does.
Scott, you require
But it's Scott with first poke, and has he got Aidan's number here? 18 and tops. Tops for Taylor. How many times we've said that over the years, but usually
Aidan,
it corresponds with a hit.
150.
Can Kirk find the 150? Double 15. Oh, that's
shot on a third
superb.
leg.
The
Aidan
captain
Kirk.
rises to the task. He leads by example and leads 2-1 with a break.
Fourth flag. It's Aidan to throw first. Game on.
Yeah, classy little finish there, and just reiterating to Scott Taylor, he had 1 dart at
96.
that, but no reaction from him, stood behind. And I feel with
100.
Scott Taylor, all you do is winding up when you do things like that to him. And Aidan Kirk, his best shot out
96.
last night was 99, so that's his first ton topper, and what a way to do it. It was a lovely lie, wasn't it, with the treble 20. He had to go that way and get 1 dart at it. In that situation, when your opponent's on a double, lesson to all, you've got to get a dart at it somehow.
57.
Scott winning that title was a massive breakthrough for him. He's been a great player for a number of years. Do you think that was the big title that validated the career that he's had up to date?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think look, let's not beat around the
59.
bush. There's only been six winners of this, you know, and it is a very prestigious thing to win now. It is being right up there. You want to get your name on that trophy, whether it's the
59.
weekly one, and obviously the series one is the icing on the cake. But to get here and win a Saturday is pretty special as well. There aren't many people that are doing that, so we've got to start seeing this for what it is. And that is one very good competition
68.
that the players are now
Aidan, you
wanting to be in
54.
and wanting their name on the silverware.
Well, that was unlucky bounce out there for Scott. He would have left himself a dart at a double.
44.
Kirk spurns a couple of
Scott, you
opportunities at the
require
outer ring, and
74.
so Taylor gets a bit of a reprieve here. 54 for 20. And
shot
level
on a
we
full
are at
flag,
2-2.
Scott Taylor.
He gets the break back, does the defending champ, and it's a best of 3 from here. He ruefully shakes his head. He
Fifth
knows
flag,
that there's
it's Scott to throw
more in the
first.
locker. Both players
Game
will
on.
feel there's more in the locker. Teetering around their B game at the moment, averaging 87 and 86.
125.
I think Taylor is mentally very strong. Mentally very strong. And you could see he walks around like he's not
140.
really, bothered, but he's snarling at that board tonight. Look at him snarl at that. He wants to top this group.
182.
I'll tell you when Scott Taylor's in top form, when he bites that bottom lip, if you're an
57.
opponent at the board, you better be scared. That bite of the bottom lip usually corresponds in spells of brilliance. Look at that snarl. It's something out of the John Park playbook.
95.
Digging in here.
134.
And
Scott,
he
you
could
require
find himself in front if
101.
he could pin the 101. This has been a game littered with exchanges when it's come to the finishing. The ultimate exchange would be if Kirk can
41.
follow up the
Aidan, you
150 with
require
the 170.
170.
Another. Bullseye.
123. Scott, you require 60.
Rushed the last one a little bit, didn't he? He was a split second quicker, and that made the release slightly different, and he dragged it down. But
Game shot on a fifth flag.
Taylor back
Scott
on his
Taylor.
beloved tops. makes no mistake. And a little tap on the thigh from Aidan Kirk there in appreciation.
Flag.
That's class,
first.
that.
Game on.
Class from Kirk.
They're just great players, but they're great guys off the hockey as well.
96.
Fortunate to spend a lot of time with Scott during his visits here at the
40.
live lounge.
$96.
And he is very down to earth when you do
93.
chat to him. I remember speaking to him at the previous Champions Week before he picked up the 20K, and
100.
we were just generally chatting about things, and he was saying, well, whatever happens, I'm going back to work on the Monday morning, and the boss probably isn't happy with the amount of annual leave that I've
48.
taken up as a consequence of my successes here.
139.
It feels like a contest that deserves a last leg decider, and Kirk's a couple of darts away from doing exactly that.
Yeah, totally agreed. It has been a bit of a... Not quite the game it was last night with 95 and 91 averages. You know, they're just a smidgen under that, but still a very
38.
entertaining game all the same. And yes, there is, like you say, monetary value differences in the position you finish in the group.
42.
But
Aiden, you
it's
require
going into
32.
Saturday for me. You don't want to be losing to somebody who you feel that's going to be your main rival
Game shot on a sick flag.
the
Aiden
night
Kirk.
before. You know, it's Taylor will know that
7th and final
Kirk
leg.
is in a
It's
bit of
Scott to
form,
throw
and
first.
it's now
Game
that
on.
Taylor has to make the fact that he started 4 legs count. He really needs a treble in this visit, and he gets 2, so a good
134.
start. Kirk would have been watching that and thinking, oh, he's missed the treble 20. I'm all right here, and he's followed it up with 2
44.
treble 19s.
Why do I just get the sense, and this ain't by way of design by anybody whatsoever, but why do I feel like there's a couple of players on
99.
energy conserve mode ahead of tomorrow night?
Yeah, you could be right. You could be right. None of the guys know
100.
they're through, but I'm a dart player, and I know that I don't think like that. I'm a competitor, and I want to win every game that's put in front of me, and
58.
these 2 guys are exactly the same.
Because I can imagine it is just natural to sometimes in this scenario relax. You may not do it yourself, but
100.
that adrenaline naturally courses away from the body.
Yeah, you can. You can, but tend to, when you relax, unless it's a
96.
lethargic relax and a lack of concentration, you can relax but keep your concentration, and that's when you throw your tidy stuff. You can
59.
also relax
Scott,
by
you require
losing your concentration and
114.
get a bit lethargic and lady, and that's when you start straying from your targets.
Taylor isn't going to finish the game off
58.
for a 114, but what he is going to do is leave himself on a single to double combination upon his return. It's a win that would put Taylor on to 10 points. It would put him to the top of the
Scott, you
table
require
on
56.
legs difference. Tops. To put the
Great shot.
champion on
And the
top.
match, Scott
And
Taylor.
Scott Taylor moves himself on to 10 points, moves himself into P1, and in the race for supremacy as far as this group is concerned, Aidan Kirk needs a couple of snookers. Taylor, 2 wins from 2 as far as his evening's concerned this evening. A 4-3 success against Aidan Kirk, who is already through, have that 150 finish, but it is Taylor who picks the points up. Myself and Scott are going to analyse all of the action, and then after that, it's going to be Trina Gulliver up against Ashley Coleman, the 2 players who won't make it through this group.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God!
Amazing!
Well, that's £100 down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum!
18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first start from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Skate. Oh,
Can you believe it? That is unbelievable. Get match darts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Number 4 for the title.
Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out, that's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Oh, Bosh.
Pie Face is through, he gets there.
He's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that Pie Face dominated throughout.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we are midway through our action on this Friday evening at the Modus Super Series. Myself and Scott Mitchell have been watching every single dart in the commentary box, and all 3 players have been confirmed for tomorrow night's final through this group. Ashley Coleman and Trina Gulliver, the 2 players who needed snookers to make it through, failed to win their opening 2 matches, and so Andy Davidson, Aidan Kirk and the defending champion Scott Taylor are all safely through. Myself and Scott are going to round up all of those players' performances so far this evening. Let's begin by talking about the defending champion Scott Taylor. Intrigued us with the shirt that he bought in this evening, but when it came to on the oche, it was pure business from him.
Yeah, absolutely. He was playing. He's played lovely, and he looks controlled tonight. You know, he's continued everything from last night. He had a few chances last night. Not worried about the game that he lost. He's come tonight and been assertive again. Won his 2 games, and he's pretty near to be home and dry. Got 2 more to go. I don't see him making any more mistakes tonight. He really pushed by Aidan Kirk there. So there's the potential banana skins with a game he could have lost tonight. Had the darts in that last one. Commanded the leg. Got there first. Did the job.
What about Aidan Kirk? Let's talk more generically about him, what you've seen from him over the past 2 days, and what you've made of his levels and his patterns of play.
Yeah, I think his levels. I think he's one of those he's going through the motions and doing things right. He's not overly worried about the averages, from what I can see. It's about winning games for him, and he's coming in. He's winning games. He's pushing Taylor hard there. He'll be pleased with that. You know, he'll be really pleased with that. He goes in tomorrow, you know, feeling good about it. We all know that Saturday night is very different. This is the group stage. This is the step over the line in the sand. Saturday night's a different night, a different 6 people, and it's a different mindset. So he'll know what to do on that night. Although it's his first time here, he'll know how that feels, those big games, and I look forward to watching him tomorrow night.
Well, one man who's going to do it for the very first time is Andy Davidson, our ADC qualifier from Edinburgh. He's embraced everything about this week, and he stormed through the finishing line. He did it for everybody else, of course. Obviously,
I love the rawness of the guy. And do you know, he played Trina. He won't have been used to playing a lady that's like throwing the kitchen sink at you. And Trina was superb in that game against him. And just when you think she was getting into it, he pops up with a very classy 107. You can't teach that. You can't teach that. He believed he was going to hit that to save himself. And that's exactly what he did. So for me, when he's going to be put under pressure Again, tonight, there's a couple of games he could get under a lot of pressure tonight. We're going to see more about him, but I love the rawness. I love the fact that he's so laid back about it all. I love the fact that he talks well about the game, and being Scottish, I can even understand him. It's fantastic.
Well, let's have a look at the table then at the halfway point of tonight's play. Because Scott Taylor, Andy Davidson, Aidan Kirk, they're safely through. Coleman and Gulliver out of proceedings. So they're going to be through to tomorrow evening's final. It's now about confirming in which particular places they will find themselves in. Right, we'll talk a little bit more about tonight in just a second, but let's get next week's housekeeping out of the way with first, because there's a late replacement as far as Group A is concerned. Boris Koltsov, unfortunately, has had to withdraw from the competition. And so Rusty Jake Rodriguez, the talented Austrian, one of about 110,000 Rodriguez brothers in the game, is going to be playing in Group A. Somebody that you know very well from your days playing on the Pro Tour circuit, Rusty Jake.
Yeah, absolutely. He has everything, and the fact that the whole family know what they're doing with it, with a dart. It's going to be a great addition, I think, to that group. And it's sad that Boris can't be here, but what a replacement, to bring in. He's a name, people will know him, and he'll come here and he'll really enjoy it and embrace it. He's one of those that just turns to situations and enjoys them, and I think that he'll be a welcome addition to the Super Series.
The way he was playing towards the end of last year, he's a live contender to win the week, isn't he, Rusty Jake?
Yeah, I think so. And he'll be thinking that too. He'll be looking at that group. He'd have played some of those players in there, and he will fancy his chances. He would have beaten some of those before as well. And I know bits about their game. And sometimes when you come to here and you find players that you don't know, they're the ones that can cause an upset. They're the ones that can worry you because you've not come across them before in your career. So there's a few there that he'll know a lot about, and there's a few there that he'll have to watch himself and mind out,
Well, it's Monday at 9:30. The action's going to get underway on the Super Series YouTube channel. Right, next up for us is the Golden Girl, Trina Gulliver, in action. We confirmed her as one of our players for the Women's Week, which is going to start on the 27th of May yesterday. And what a week it's going to be.
How big is your leg? Shot and the Modus Super Series Week 5 champion
To become the first ever female player to hit a televised night-time finish.
Again, over to the right side. This is a Stephen Bunting area of the board.
Fantastic dart from Fallon Sherrick. Fantastic finish from Fallon Sherrick.
Generational talent, playing at the peak of her powers.
16.
This is looking good, isn't it?
Trina Gulliver's going to be one of the stars of that particular week, which will begin on Monday, the 27th of May, following the conclusion of Champions Week here in Series 7 at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. And the way Trina's been playing over the last couple of days, she's going to be a live contender for that particular title. But as far as Series 7 here is concerned, unfortunately, her race is won. She lost out because of that victory for Andy Davidson against Ashley Coleman. Any slim hopes were evaporated there. And so these two, well, they're playing for pride more than anything else. They're playing for fourth spot, which will give them an extra financial bonus, an extra financial incentive. But these must be the tough games to play, Scott. You've played at the Grand Slam before, where you put yourself sometimes in a position where if you don't make it through, you can see your last game be a dead rubber. These must be the real tough games to play.
81.
Yeah, the Grand Slam is a very similar situation where, the position you finish in the group, you're financially rewarded. So
100.
I think I went 3 times, and twice I think I lost the last game to go through as top 2 to the knockout stage, and it's a bit disappointing. I think one time I lost
30.
to Stephen Bunting. I can't remember the other time. I think I lost to Peter Wright, or it might have been Merv King. But it's a very similar situation. So those that have been at the Grand Slam will understand this a little bit more. But a shorter format, so it's a little bit more quick fire, a little bit more cutthroat. And shortening the games levels
40.
the playing field.
Yeah, best of 7 the format in the series, although the specials week does get a bit of special treatment as far as the format's concerned. A double start week was played over a best of 5 format. The women's week being the second specials week that we've had here at the Live Lounge. And why don't you get involved in the chat room? What kind of specials week would you like to see here at the end of 2024, maybe heading into the beginning of 2025?
140.
What would you like to see as a bit of a special?
I actually saw. I did mention what to Murph this afternoon. How about like a former World Champions week? But then I would say that, wouldn't I?
60.
Yeah, but are you a world champion or lakeside champion, Scott? Some would debate.
Well, I think at the time I was the world professional champion. Said it in the name above the door.
85. Actually
Not wanting to
80.
reinvigorate any arguments. But, yeah, no, it's... I'm announced as the Lakeside
70.
World Champion.
Trini
So does that answer your question?
Emphatically. Talking of world champions, Trina climbed that hill 10 times in her career. She's now looking for 105 to take the lead here. Treble 15 would have left tops, and so
45.
Coleman ironically left on 10 to
10.
take out this opening leg against Fro. That might be a nice sighter for him. But he's had a couple of wild ones this evening, and this has been the strength of his play, particularly in Group A, but it has gone a begging when it's mattered most as far as this week is concerned. And Gulliver looks for tops to take the lead. And take the lead she will. 1-0 to the Golden Girl.
Second leg. It's Ashley to throw first.
Whilst I've got my 10 pence thoughts, I really do like the idea of a Masters
59.
themed week. 12 players, best 12 in the amateur system. We can incorporate the ADC and ADC Europe in it as well. We can have the top 2 European players, the top
85.
ADC player, maybe even get the ADC Oceanic #1 and give them 2 weeks. So you give them the Masters week and then the first week of the next phase, and have almost a World Masters type
100.
format. Best of 3 sets, best of 3 legs.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, it's just us. Haven't played that many times back in the day. It's such a brutal format.
81.
Such a brutal format. You can be high and dry, 2-0 at the break, pop off out the back, feeling all nice and dandy, and the
96.
breaks come back in those days at the wrong time, and before you know it, you've lost 4 legs. You've won 2 of your own, but you've lost 4.
85.
And you're back at 2-2, and then it's a best-of-3 shootout. Fantastic format, very exciting. You're never, ever out of it in that format. And I think you're right. It would be an exciting week.
Every leg matters in that particular format because it is so cutthroat.
And would we call that the World Masters format, or would we...
Modus Masters.
I like
Actually
it.
require 111.
Coleman's got 6 from 111 to square up at 1 apiece. Treble 17 would have left him tops.
51.
Comes back for a single to double, and it will be upon his return, but Gulliver looking to set up and just ask the question of the pod.
$90.
So
Ashley
Coleman to
requires
equalise.
I've noticed Coleman's changed his stems again. Some
50.
clear
Trini requires
stems in his last
75.
match, and he's trying something looks a little bit thinner, actually. A touch longer. I may be wrong. It's a definite change.
It's going to be a change of fortunes for Trina. Tops for a 2-0 lead. Tops for the break.
35.
Pictures above, but Coleman
Ashley
had issues on this
required
double
10.
in the previous leg. Surely.
No score.
2 pitching the wire, but none could
Trini
find a way
require
in.
40.
And so Gulliver can step in once more to break in lead 2-0. Double 10. This breakdown has been so good to her tonight,
20.
but now has to
Ashley
hope for more
required
misses
10.
from Coleman. And there's
No
going to be,
score.
because he strays the other side into
Trini
tops.
required 20.
Like I say, this has been unusual for Gulliver. Every time she's had a chance, she's taken it so far.
No score.
in this group, and she does
Ashley requires
identical
10.
to what Coleman does. Surely this time it goes.
On a second leg, Ashley Coleman.
You give me enough goes at it. Ashley Coleman said, "I'll get it," and he did.
Third leg, it's Trina to throw
Two legs,
first.
one combined in 49 darts. It's a funny old game sometimes, Scott.
It can be, and with both of them being down there at the foot of the table.
Now, is that in? The answer is no. Now, the rules are the point has to penetrate for
60.
it to count as a scoring dart. Now, the referee, Jack Garwood, had a look at it and said no was the case on that particular occasion. We all remember
60.
the infamous Berry Van Peer incident from last year where we're wondering whether it was in or not. Just has to touch. A touch is enough.
95.
Yeah, apparently so. I throw mine with quite a hard propulsion, and I don't
80.
get those sorts of issues. When mine come out, they come out and launch themselves back at me. So I don't get those hanger-oners very often.
Seen some violent bounce outs.
83.
In fact, we've actually seen referees assaulted on the stage by a dart that's bounced out before on a couple of occasions.
A couple of weeks ago, we had them
83.
bouncing back at the player themselves, didn't we?
Indeed. I'll never forget the time where Charlie Corsby literally had a
97.
dart stuck in his leg and he had to pull it out. Health and safety gone mad.
95. Trina requires 66.
It's 66 for Trina to lead 2-1. Double 18. The double of choice.
30.
And it grazes
Ashley
the wire.
require 108.
Great find. Double 16.
76. Trina
And so
require
Gulliver to move
36.
2-1 in front, but there are opportunities she can ill afford to pass by.
Game shot on the
Problem
third
is
leg,
with
Trina
this game,
Gulliver.
when they pass you by the leg before, then when you get your opportunity, say maybe the next leg,
Fourth leg, it's Ashley to throw
the doubt
first.
is still there in
Game
your
on.
mind because it's only a few moments ago that you were struggling and chasing around the board. So
81.
once again, another big part of the mental side of the game, you really do have to throw your bad darts away.
123.
You can throw your bad darts away because they are history. It's all about
108.
the present is what you've got to concentrate on. And Coleman pops in a 180 there. That's his second of the
45.
evening.
Hasn't quite lived up to the rip-roaring standard that we saw last night in this group, where 10-plus averages are being hit off the
134.
lampshades and 90 averages just felt mediocre.
Yeah, it's exactly how it felt sat here in the commentary seat. It really was. It's
40.
It
Ashley,
was
you
really
require 106.
swashbuckling, fast and furious. And the standard was stonking.
58.
Well, Coleman's left himself on a single to double after 12 to square this contest up at 2 apiece.
60. Ashley
Gulliver's
requires
scoring
48.
power has evaporated from her in this leg. And it's a
Game shot on the
14
fourth
darter
leg,
for
Ashley
Coleman to bring it back to 2-2. Now, we should tell you about the consequences of a
Fifth
win
leg,
for
it's
Ashley
Trina to
Coleman,
throw
because if he
first.
can
Game on.
win this particular battle, he would confirm 4th place. He'd move on to 4 points with just a game for the pair left to play. If Gulliver can win this particular
100.
clash, then both players would be on 2 points. Gulliver's last game against Aidan Kirk.
55.
Coleman would still have Scott Taylor to play in proceedings.
22. 91. 59. 96. 25.
4 more games to go for our evening session here of the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. We'll be back tomorrow evening from 7:30 for the finals, where the 11th name in the Champions Week Call of Honour will be put into the system.
100.
Intriguing Champions
Actually
Week
require
in this present moment in time. Coleman 158. Double 19.
120.
Would have been for a purple patch moment for the Prince of Darkness, but it's not going to go on this occasion. Doesn't need to go. Gulliver back at 195.
11. Ashley require 38.
Double 7. Doesn't
24.
go. Could get a little bit awkward though here for Ashley.
It could do, but he needs to be put under pressure from Gulliver.
60.
And the 7
Ashley
visit
require
followed by
14.
60 is not really pressure. Sometimes you can be too far in front, though, Henry. You are right that
Trini require 124.
mentally you've got time, and you tend to sort of not quite go at it so full-hearted. Made sure of the big 14.
91. Ashley require 14.
She found the ball there. Would have been some way to have punished. That's awkward. Has to move across. He may have just a small portion of the bed he can see. It's clattered the barrel.
No score.
And he's done well to work her way around with the last dart, but couldn't find a way in. And so Gulliver, who was a passenger at points in this leg, has now got an opportunity to nick it if she can find double 16. How this would hurt Coleman. How that will hurt Coleman. Gulliver moves 3-2 in front. It was a leg that she was never in, but it's a leg she ends up winning. She moves the leg away from the victory post. But Ashley Coleman here has missed 22 darts at a double in this match.
140.
Scott Taylor against Andy
100.
Davidson follows this particular clash. Then Kirk Gulliver, Coleman Taylor,
81.
and Davidson Kirk to round off our Group B action on this Friday night of Tungsten Delights on the sunny south coast. And what a beautiful day it has been in Portsmouth
85.
as well.
Yeah, I saw your Facebook pictures. I didn't see the beautiful day personally. I was here in the commentary box with the air conditioning on. So I knew it must have been warm outside because we had to have the aircon on all the afternoon in here.
Forgot that you've been working the double shift today.
Absolutely. Love this game,
63.
I do. Love it.
We love having you in the commentary box as well, Scott, for your ace analysis. Part of our wonderful
95.
commentary and punditry team here at the Super Series. Another treble here makes this leg so interesting.
100. Ashley require 100.
To take us all the way.
60. Trini require 153.
Well, this would be some way to win it. But the treble 19 goes a begging, and so Coleman will come back for tops to
Ashley require
send
40.
us all the way. It'd be our third match of the evening that will herald 7 legs.
Shot on a 6th leg.
But
Ashley
it's Gulliver
Coleman.
who's going to have the darts in that last leg decider.
And you'd think she needs to have a
7th
good
and
start
final
here.
leg. It's Trina to throw first. Game on.
However, that has opened up the opportunity here for Coleman.
Yeah, and the problems were created by that first dart. All of a sudden, the panic sets through your head when you hit 5 with your first dart on that very first visit. And then you start to get tight trying to find the treble. And Trina's causing her own problems here by being under the treble. But that time she moves out to a clear target and finds it in the form of a treble 19. And
140.
Coleman fires a double treble visit of his own and finds that he's putting Gulliver under pressure.
60.
Still a leg very much up in the offing. Yes, Ashley has taken the darts, but he's one troublous visit away
47.
like that from being reeled right back in here.
$41.
Much better first dart from Trine, but the adjustment was not good.
$40.
Tentative last leg.
Yeah, you could understand why for the pair of them.
95. $72.
Untimely bounce out there for Coleman. Fantastically caught by our camera crew.
$100. Ashley require 106.
For the match. Treble 18 would have left double 16, and so Gulliver
58.
will return
Trini
to get her
require
first win
82.
on the board. 82 is what she wants. $74 left, so treble 14, double 16, or 54 for double 10. Went treble 14, and so Coleman here has an
42.
opportunity
Ashley
to rubber
require
stamp 4th
48.
place in the group. He would condemn Gulliver to the bottom of the pile if he could pin
Good
double A,
shot. And the
and that's
match,
exactly what
Ashley
he
Coleman.
does. Well, the Prince of Darkness isn't going to make it through to Saturday night, but he is going to secure the bonus of finishing in 4th. He gets the better of Trina Gulliver in a last leg decider by 4-3. Wasn't a classic affair, wasn't a vintage affair. As a matter of fact, Coleman missed 23 darts at a double in the contest, but it's he who picks the points up. Coming up after the break, Scott Taylor takes on Andy Davidson. It's game 7 of our night.
Africa has talent. We just needed the platform. And
I think Devon did an interview with me a night before I won the qualifier.
Everybody in Africa can succeed, and we're going to create a platform.
And he asked me, what does it mean to me if I won it? I said, I know my life is going to change.
When you see good guys succeed, you know that just being good is a great thing.
God knows the plan for you, but he won't tell you. You just have to be ready for it.
And I think that the future for African darts is amazing.
Well, the Modus Super Series is a global competition, and we are going to reaffirm that in future series. One qualifier from Africa every single series, courtesy of the African Darts Group. The work that the likes of Devon Peterson and Simon Adams that you saw in that VT there, most certainly beginning to come to fruition. Africa, a continent which is brimming with talent and looking for the opportunities and the platforms to showcase that, and the Modus Super Series will provide that particular opportunity in Series 8 and beyond.
First leg.
Well, the defending champion Scott Taylor is in action here against Andy Davidson. It's our 7th match of the evening session. In this game yesterday, well, fireworks were well and truly lit. Scott Taylor lost with an average of 104. Andy Davidson winning with an average of 110. But it's fair to say this evening, Scott, that these two haven't quite played to those types of levels as of yet.
45.
Well, one could say that they did the hard work last night. But for us, we don't want that to be the case. We want these two, now that they're through, to really go at it hammer and tongs and throw the kitchen sink at one another and give us a game something similar to yesterday, because it just did not let up. It was dart after dart, treble after treble, a 160 shot out in there as well for Davidson. It was just one of those classy matches, and one of the all-time greats here at the Super Series.
131.
131 for Taylor. Isn't going to go, but he has got the luxury of time.
57. $59. Scott, you require 74.
Tots for Taylor. 1-0 Taylor. The champ is up and running. And that was a point to that double. He is in business mode, is the man from Bolton.
It's Andy to throw first. Game on. $140. $55.
Well, on the back of Taylor's shirt, which has caused quite some intrigue this evening, that there, the 17th of February 2024, that was the date where he picked the trophy up.
140.
Beat Tom Sykes 4-1 in the final to claim the jackpot.
Yeah, and it brought Tom Sykes to the world as well. He was unlucky that night. I'm pleased for his mate to have won it. I remember watching that one.
Well, is Davidson about to do it again against Scott Taylor? He's on for a potential 11 here. Averaging 107 as things stand now. He's going to go down as a consequence of that particular visit. But maybe there's just something about these two that just bring the best out of one another.
60.
I think it's the pace. I think that Taylor throws at a bit quicker pace, and
game shot on his second leg, Andy Davidson.
Because Davidson does, and what I like about Davidson is board management is very good for one.
Third leg, it's Scott to throw first.
What's a better word? New, I suppose. It's at this level, he's new and he's still doing the right things.
100. $96.
Just want to go back to that announcement that we spoke about earlier on at the beginning of this match, the Modus Super Series partnering with African Darts Group.
100.
Now, you can't call yourself an international darts competition if you don't have qualifiers or players from
93.
one of the biggest untapped regions in the world, and that is Africa.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great announcement for both
82.
South African darts and for the Super Series as a global product. To see one of those guys over here,
100.
you know, each series it's a big thing, and I know, speaking to Devon after the announcement,
59. Scott, you
he's
require
really proud of
128.
this opportunity, and we're seeing the Super Series give opportunities to guys in the
88.
UK that
Andy, you require
sometimes you won't be able to see
164.
through the ADC route. And I think, oh, here we go.
Game shot on
Oh,
the
here
third
we
leg.
go.
Andy
164
Davidson.
goes. Last night he did a 160 against Scott Taylor, and now tonight he's
Fourth
bettered
leg.
that
It's
with a
Andy to throw
164.
first. Game on.
For the break of phone, a 2-1 lead, and it's 100.2 the average for Davidson. He's tipping above the ton
96.
again against the defending champ.
That's his fifth ton plus
140.
shot out. He's got a 160 a ton, a couple of 107s, which were earlier on this evening, and now a
140.
164. And looking at the rest of the group, only Coleman has a 118, and we saw a 150 from Aidan Kirk this evening.
135.
So on the ton plus table shots count, Davidson is well ahead.
135.
And in this game, he looks well ahead of the curve against the defending champ. Well, Davidson hit a 164 on the previous
Andy,
leg.
you require 130.
Can he find a 130 in this? He's got 6 from here. That's why he went across to the 18s.
98.
Again, sensible play for what can only be described as a newbie here to us at the Super Series.
121. Andy, you require 32.
13 darts and 3-1 incoming
shot
for
on the fourth
Davidson.
leg. Andy
Average moves to just under 104, 103.98.
Fifth
Scott
leg.
Taylor must be
Scott to
thinking,
throw first.
what do I have
Game
to
on.
do against this guy? He's averaging 94.11, and he's only had a dart and a double in this
44.
match off the back of the 74.
Yeah, Scott Taylor knows Saturday night isn't one on Friday night.
45.
The Saturday finals. He's weighing his opponent up here, and he's thinking, you're going to have to keep this up, mate, because I'm now coming back at you. And there we go.
What's I said about the quiver of the bottom lip? When that bottom lip is quivering,
140.
everybody else will be a shaking in the background. He is quite literally a player that if he has the bit between his teeth, then he can do some stratospheric
96.
things.
That's his 9th 180 of the group.
125. 130.
The little fish to leave himself on 51.
135.
Well, there's 3 things here.
Scott, you
Death
require
taxes a
51.
single 11 here for tops. Double 10.
31.
Doesn't go. And so Davidson
Andy,
for the
you
match,
require
56.
Yeah, that big visit before has given him this chance.
Game shot.
And a
the
chance he
match, Andy
takes is another
Davidson.
ruthless display against the defending champion. Andy Davidson averages 104.69 in dismantling Scott Taylor by 4 legs to 1. Scott Taylor averaging just under 95, but only had 3 darts and a double to show for it. Davidson, again, so good against the man from Bolton. Coming up after the break, Aidan Kirk up against Trina Gulliver. Welcome back to the live lounge here in Portsmouth for the Modus Super Series, where it's a final run out for Trina Gulliver. She's going to be departing us at the end of this match against Aidan Captain Kirk, and hasn't got a win to her name as of yet, but we've seen many worse performances that have got points than what Trina's put in over the last couple of days. The Golden Girl, who is still harbouring big ambitions in the game, just this week has not been one that's quite gone her way. So let's see what Game 8 is going to bring. And I mentioned it in the intro,
First leg,
we have
it's Aidan to throw first.
seen players pick up 0 points before in a Group B, but Trina hasn't played like a player who deserves to pick up 0 points.
No, Henry, she most certainly hasn't. And what I can only say is an unbelievably tough group with guys in some super form, and
60.
She has found it tough going, but she's not let it deter her. She's won legs along the way.
100.
She's only gone down to 0 on one occasion, and that to Scott Taylor, a Series 6
60.
champion. So nothing she can really be too upset about. Many, many more positives than
45.
negatives to come from the last couple of evenings for her.
A bit like that.
121.
Indeed.
For Aidan, he got the victory that he
81.
needed to get over the line against Ashley Coleman out of the gate early on, but that's the only win of his evening so far, though he is only halfway through proceedings. He'll play the final match against Andy Davidson.
100.
Coleman Taylor in the sandwich in the middle of these clashes.
Yeah, the corresponding fiction last night saw Aidan Kirk take this one 4-2.
125.
If I remember rightly, Trina was
Trina
there and
require
thereabouts to make it
160.
3-all.
Well, Kirk's going to come back for the 94 to
122.
take out the opening leg.
Aidan, you require
Gulliver
94.
sat on a double, so this has to go. There is a necessity towards it. The ball, and that was perfectly pitched, that first
69.
dart, and he followed the guide. You can see it there.
38.
Yeah, it certainly was. He just hit the wrong side of the guide dart.
Game shot on the first
Nothing wrong with
leg,
that
Trina
from Gulliver.
If this group was played on a Yorkshire board,
Second
Trina
leg,
Gulliver
it's
would be
Trina
top
to throw
of it.
First. Game on.
Aidan will be a part of the
59.
finals night field alongside Andy Davidson, Scott Taylor, Devon Peterson, Richard Rowlands, and Tommy Morris.
97.
And you can be here as well tomorrow evening. www.dartshot.tv, the place to be to get tickets for any week here at the Super Series. Or alternatively, you can scan
81.
the QR code, which, like magic, abracadabra, there it is on your screen. It's like that
96.
millionaire Paul Daniels. Yeah, and tickets available until the end of July for a week here at the Super Series. So why not book a summer vacation to the south coast of Portsmouth?
140.
Yeah, you really need to. If you're a dart fan, come and experience the live lounge, at least if it's just for the once.
132.
Come on down and pay us a visit.
You may even get a selfie with the 2015 Lakeside World Champion.
82.
And you can take it home, you can put it in your garden, and it should keep the pigeons off your lettuce.
140. Trini require 139.
139 for Trina for 2-0. Isn't going to go. Kirk's left a double after 12 to break the Golden Girl back.
43. Aidan, you require 36.
Double 18. Nudges the wire, both darts,
Gets
and then
on the
uses
second
them as a
leg,
handy
Aidan
guide
Kirk.
for the third to clip in. Level we are, 1-1.
Yeah, nicely done.
Third leg, it's Aidan to throw first. Game on.
Well, this game, the first of our final trilogy of matches this evening. Coleman, Taylor,
99.
Davidson, Kirk will ensue and follow.
57. $137.
Well, like earlier, when there was a nose hair between all the players, it's been a bit more.
140.
This Group B a bit more settled as far as proceedings are concerned.
Yeah, it is, but I think with the 3 guys going from this group into our Saturday night
92.
finals, we really are going to see fireworks tomorrow. It's going to be fast, it's going to be rapid. Until we get to Richard Rowlands, who will just do
104.
exactly what he's done all week, which is play his own pace. But it does seem to be an intriguing night. It could be fast and furious.
77.
Big
require
scoring,
60.
I think, tomorrow. I can't wait to see how it pans out. And
Shot on a third leg. Aiden Kirk.
it's going to be all about timing like that from Aiden Kirk, who does the right thing.
4th flag. It's Trina to throw first.
5 days before is all going to be wiped out. The slate will be clean. That'll be who does it on the night.
60.
14 data for Kirk to bring it into 2-1.
59.
Both players averaging above the 90 mark going into leg 4.
$100. $60.
Andy Davidson involved in the last game against Aiden. That's one more game left for Aiden. Andy Davidson, who's had the adventure of a lifetime this week of the Super Series. The ADC qualifier from
41.
Edinburgh, making his debut here at the Super Series. Certainly found a higher power than perhaps we
134.
expected from him earlier on this week.
Possibly. Here's Gulliver.
140.
Kirk could be in trouble here.
I thought we were going to see all the flashy lights again.
128. Trini require 160.
This to square up at 2-2. Another one of them would have left tops. So Gulliver wanting the 2 trebles for tops. Aiden only needs the 1 treble to leave that particular double of choice. Could be bull here because the first dart's blocked, but perseveres with dart 2 and gets his awards.
100.
But then couldn't fire home
Trini
with dart 3.
requires
And so
75.
Gulliver to square up at 2-2. 75 is what she's wanting.
$55.
Tops for Desamondo, but this for the
Aiden, you
breaker
require
throw.
20.
D10.
Game shot on a 4th flag.
3-1
Aiden
against
Kirk.
Trina.
Fifth flag. It's Aiden to throw first. Game on.
When you think about the performances that Trina's put in, she can feel a little bit hard
56.
done by about the way things have gone.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. I think we touched on it earlier. If she leaves
100.
to win, it would be a slight injustice. But I think if she breaks some of these games down and watches it back, she's done some really good things in some
60.
big moments, and I'm sure that she can find and take heart from that.
40.
Trina will be involved, I'm sure, in the final couple of World Seniors events in
81.
2024, the World Match Play and the World Masters. The Match Play, the first on the horizon in October, the famous Barbican Theatre in York, home of the UK Snooker Championships, and now very much a darts venue in its own right. You played there last year, although I'm sure
60.
you don't want me to bring that fate back up for you.
No, thanks for that. Yeah, I played lovely there last year. Sort of, I think, 92, 93 average, and missed out to Hogan, I think.
60.
8-6, and missed a couple of darts at tops was the only mistake I made to get broken. So, yeah, difficult one, but hey, look, played lovely.
60.
It was all part of the route
Trini require
of
161.
what I did a couple of weeks ago here and getting me back to where I want to be. So, game's in good shape. But yeah, great tournament and a great venue to play within.
95.
Well, Trina here averaging just under 88. 66 would get the break and to bring it back to 3-2. Should have the darts and just
83.
begin to ask
Training
Aiden a couple of
requires
questions. Clickety click for the 66.
48.
Doesn't go, and so
Aiden, you
Kirk
require
101
101.
to complete a 4-1 win. Gonna get a dart at double 16. Doesn't go.
69.
Gulliver returns.
Trini require 18.
She has hit this already once tonight.
No score.
Not to be on this
Aiden, you
occasion, and a
require
look to the
32.
skies. I think she knows her fate.
Could be sealed here.
Game shot.
And
the
it's
match,
sealed.
Aiden
And
Kirk.
Captain Kirk ends the campaign for Trina Gulliver. She played and acquitted herself well over the 8 games. She felt a little bit hard done by. She didn't get a win on the board. But a nice embrace there between the pair as the game comes to its culmination. 2 more to go. And that's going to kick off with Coleman up against Taylor. It's live. It's next. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Before the break, Aiden Kirk got the better of Trina Gulliver by 4-1. And now we see Scott Taylor, the defending champion, in action. And he is going to have a chance to defend the title he picked up in February. Tomorrow evening, he's into the final. He had a second chance of reclaiming the crown, and he is making best use of it so far. Nice little underarm last practice start there as he takes on Ashley Coleman, who himself has had a second go at this particular series. But like last time, unfortunately for him, it's not going to end in a Saturday night appearance. But for him, it's going to be a case of just enjoying himself as much as he can. He's guaranteed for
134.
just try and put a good performance in the tank.
$140.
How do you think Ashley, in the cold light of day, will reflect upon this week, do you think, Scott?
140.
I had a little brief word with him yesterday, and he said he was really pleased to be here and be invited back. And
100.
I think he brings a certain something to it. There's no two ways about it. And this again was a particular tough group.
140.
You get booked and you get asked the weeks you can fill in and fit in, and they're generally not sort of hand-picked. So you drop in 85. On availability, and he's dropped
87.
in onto an absolute beauty here in Group B this week. And
game shot on the first leg, Scott Taylor.
Been a little unlucky. Taylor nipping along nicely with a 11 darter.
It's Scott to throw first.
Just doesn't give you time to settle, does he?
Man on a mission.
60.
Now, no former or defending champion, shall I say, has, apart from Luke Little, made the subsequent Champions Week, Little, of course, retain the title. So he's looking to become just the second player to do that.
83.
Has already had a crack, as I mentioned in this series, lost in the final to Neil Duff back in week 4.
140.
But I get the sense that the last chance saloon element could work in Scott's favour big time tomorrow night.
48.
Look, the way that he's playing, I don't see why not. He seems to be able to go through the gears and go up and down the gears with whatever his opponent is doing, and that's something you can't teach. It's something that's either in you or it's not, and he sure as hell got it in him, and here we go again.
120.
And that bounce out has cost him an opportunity of a finish.
120.
And so Coleman's going to have 6 on the 120 to square this game up at 1 apiece. Perfectly placed for the treble. Now for the double. The 11 from Taylor in the first leg has been wiped out by a 12-dart breaker, Coleman's own. 1-1 in a high-quality contest.
Third leg, it's Ashley to throw first.
Yeah, Coleman was mustard there, wasn't he?
Stop it.
121.
Doesn't mean you, Ashley. I meant him. Wow, what a contest. What a ding-dong battle we're being
100.
treated to here. I know it's early stages, but Coleman averaging 111 and Taylor's averaging 105.
100.
Should say that if Coleman does win this match, it would
57.
mean that Andy Davidson will be also close to securing top spot in the group.
140.
5 legs in front of Aiden Kirk, but remember he plays Kirk in the final game, and there's an 8-leg swing between rounds in a group.
59. Ashley require 140.
The 140 isn't going to go, but he has got time, he has got space.
100.
And he's going to leave tops after 12. Now, if this game's going to follow a pattern, this goes first start, because Taylor had an 11 in the first, Coleman had a 12 in the second. Is it going to be followed up by a 13?
Ashley require 40. Game shot on the
14 will do. 2-1 Coleman.
Oh, I like that from Coleman. I like that a lot. You know, he's there playing for pride more than anything, and
game on.
It could be a real banana skin to Taylor, but I don't think Taylor minds where he drops into that Saturday finals
40.
groups. He just wants to be in there, and he believes in the confidence of, and he'll play it like a straight knockout, even the group stages. So he won't mind where he drops in. He'll hope his opponent doesn't want him to drop on them.
And the other thing as well is, when you do go out, the other thing that you instinctively think is, right, have I done enough to say to the selectors that I am warranted of another invite back? That's always something that's in the back of players' minds. If and when the confirmation of them not getting through has been put to bed. You want to leave a good impression, don't you, to get another crack at this?
85.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the place you want to play, and for some of these guys that aren't doing a sort of a tour and sort of nailing themselves to the mast of any particular organisation, it's a route for a lovely bit of on-screen time in a fantastic setting, which is here in Portsmouth, and a purpose-built studio that is designed
for brilliance.
For things like this. Yeah, absolutely.
Ashley require 164.
164 is going to go. Taylor for 2-2, double 18.
81.
We did
Scott,
see
you require
the
36.
164 from Davidson a couple of games ago.
Relax, Scotty boy.
28. Ashley require
Calm,
83.
my friend. Double 16, double 8 now. Doesn't go, and so Taylor to square up at 2-2 wants 2 4s.
Yeah, this could hurt. Oh, here we go.
6.
I have to say, by the grin on his face, it didn't look like he was ever going to hit that.
Game shot on a 4 flag. Ashley Coleman.
Away goes Coleman here.
5th flag. It's Ashley to throw first. Game on.
That is a look of a very frustrated man.
55.
But he's the type of player, Scott, and he may
85.
have a wry smile about it now, but inside he'll be absolutely livid. And
41.
You get the sense that tomorrow night, if he can channel that anger in the right way, and we know what he's like when he can play on the edge, it could just be the thing that ticks him over in the right direction.
58.
Yeah, I very much agree, and I know we
57.
have some group winners from Group A and B in a bit of form. I still think
85.
Taylor's going to go in as favourite, no matter where he goes in. The fact that he's at the Saturday night, I think he'll be installed as favourite. I really do, Scott Taylor.
I think it's a
94.
really tough finals night to call.
It is a tough finals night to call, but if you look at the averages and you look at what's been going on,
37.
you know,
Scott,
over the week,
170.
and you look at the 6 players that are there, if you were a bookmaker setting the odds, I can't see that you would not put Scott Taylor as the favourite.
And as Chris Mason talks about so often, relevant form in terms of what he's done in the past here can count for so much.
80. Scott, you
To
require
get one back,
70.
and it would be for a break, this 70. He's missed a big number. And he is livid. Don't poke it in the eye, Scott.
He's already done that once this evening with his flight when he drew it back a little bit too far.
Needs to be some way to seal it. Double 14.
131.
Would have been to have won it in some sumptuous style.
40. Game shot
Back
on
we
a
go to
5th flag.
3-2.
Scott Taylor.
He knows there's so much more in the locker. And
6th
that
flag.
is why
Scott to throw first.
he is a man
Game
at
on.
boiling point.
85. 83.
Of course, after this week, one more week of qualification to go, and then all roads will lead to
48.
Champions Week, where, as things stand, Andreas Harrison and Bo Greaves are being stalled, you'd think, by the bookmakers as the two favourites to go on and lift the title.
45.
Yeah, Harrison's been relentless, hasn't he? Particularly on those mid-range finishes
95.
on his visit here. That 70 to 90 range, he's just been lapping up, and that's the range that you've got to do it. We spoke to
127.
Devon today and yesterday, and he said that's where he feels his confidence is coming. That 70 to 110 range is starting to take them out now.
Well, it would have been some way to rescue the situation and take us all the way to a deciding leg. He's going to leave himself on double 14 if Coleman can fail to take out the 137, of which he cannot take.
59.
And so Taylor double 14.
28.
Wow, he says.
No score. Ashley requires 78.
No words needed. The ball?
53. Scott, you require 28.
Two single 14s for the bullseye for 78. Okay, double 14. Double 7.
14.
Don't go.
Ashley, you
And so
require
Coleman to see the job
25.
through, 25. 17 double 4 for 4-2 win. In it
shot.
goes.
And the match,
And the
Ashley
defending
Coleman.
champ ends in defeat, but he is going to make it through. As for Ashley Coleman, his week will culminate here, but it will culminate with a success. The tail of the tape from that one, 87.12 average for Coleman, 80.88 for Taylor. We're going to take a break. One more game for us to go. Davidson up against Kirk.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's 100 quid down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum.
$18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first out from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Skate.
Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable. Get match starts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Number 4 for the title.
Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out, that's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Oh, Bosh.
Pie face is through.
And he's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that Pie face dominated throughout.
And so, one final fling for us at the Super Series on this Friday night as we see Aiden Kirk and Andy Davidson go toe-to-toe. And we will see this pair tomorrow evening at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. And so, what are we going to see from this final match of the session? Davidson and Kirk, here we go. Game on, Scott Mitchell. What do we expect from here?
Well, I'm expecting to see a free-flowing
99.
Free-flowing throwing type game. And I'm expecting them to take the gloves off
81.
and throw the kitchen sink at one another.
$140.
Well, it just shows that Davidson's just getting better as the night goes along. His averages have been ticking up in the right direction. 86.40 against Trina Gulliver, 96.83 against Ash
56.
Coleman, and then that 104.69 against the defending champion Scott Taylor in the previous game that he played. Aiden Kirk is just beginning to flow, and maybe these two are bringing the best out of each other. This was the game that started the group, and it's going to be the encounter that brings
58.
the curtain down on it.
100.
And it feels like
And you
Aiden's just
require
catching up with the Davidson
148.
pace. He sped up a little bit at the beginning of this encounter. Davidson ain't going to find a fast start with the 148, and he could be broken here.
Aiden, you
Kirk
require 80.
goes tops. Gets
It's on the
tops
first leg.
for
Aiden
14
Kirk.
dart break, and he leads 1-0. A little
Second
bit
leg,
flashy.
It's Aiden to throw first.
Yeah, very
on.
much so, but kind of the done thing these days.
100.
The type of finish that make you fall off your seat.
It could indeed.
96.
In case you're wondering what happened, I nearly fell square onto the floor.
82.
We'd have had it on camera. Don't worry about that. We could have popped that up on the socials. It didn't happen, unfortunately.
60.
So nothing to see here.
60.
Same can't be said for the action on the board.
100.
Well, Kirk needs 4-0 or 4-1
44.
if he is to win the group at Davidson's expense. A couple of legs for the Scot. And, well, not just as he
140.
qualified through Group B, through Group A, but he also had a chance of winning it. He'd also finished top of Group B, and he would be in 2
48.
finals tomorrow
And you
night
require
as a result.
105.
Double 16.
73.
He would have added a 105 to
Aiden,
the
you require
pair 107s
167.
and a 164 he's had tonight.
77. Andy, you require
This double
32.
16 to square up. And it
It's on the
goes
second
1-1,
leg,
and
Andy
Davidson
Davidson.
breaks back. Kind of along at a very good
Third
pace.
leg,
3
it's
minutes of the
Andy to
first
throw
2 legs.
first.
Yeah, very
Game on.
much so. Not to be confused with the Scotty dog. It'll be 3 minutes for the first
45.
2 throws.
You sped up a bit then.
I have, yes.
I was going to say, the
55.
selectors here at the Super Series have deliberately made sure that you and Glenn Durrant aren't in the same group because we'd like to finish at a reasonable hour.
85.
No problem with me. I know the guys here in production don't get overtime, so
140.
Scott Mitchell for Glenn Durrant 3 in the space of 45 minutes.
yeah. It'll be an absolute ripper, though. Don't you worry about that.
82. 43.
Glenn is doing a fantastic job on the European tour on commentary this weekend.
I was just about to say the same. Our
140.
commentating colleague not with us because he's on Euro Tour duty, and a fine job he's doing.
Fine game this is becoming.
Andy, you require 51.
Davidson here has been a real emerging start, and it's
Gets
been
on
with
a
moments
third
of
leg,
brilliance like
Andy
that. It's a
Davidson.
14 darter. He leads 2-1 in the space of 4.5 minutes.
Fourth flag, it's Aidan to throw first.
A quick fire ending to our Group B campaign.
93. $96. $140. $125.
Captain Kirk in command of this leg.
85.
May not be now. With that lateral drift into the 5.
100.
That last dart could be key for Andy. However,
133.
he'll take that as a setup, leaving 50 after 12. Davidson needing a couple of troubles. He says definitely needs one from here.
45.
He strays
Aidan, you
wide.
require 50.
This for 2-2. Went straight for the bull. Okay. Double 8.
Game shot on a
I
full
like
flag.
it. 2-2.
Aidan Kirk.
I think that shows you where the confidence is in Kirk's game right now.
Fifth flag, it's Andy to throw
2-1
first.
down to do that.
Game on.
Have the confidence go direct for the ball. And then believe if he does it that way,
82.
he can tidy it up nicely with one dart in his hand and get himself out of it.
140. $180.
That's Andy's second of the match, the third of the contest altogether.
43.
Oh my goodness, that was a weird angle of entry.
42.
Hit the other dart and then crevessed in at a weird angle.
27. $140.
Davidson, 57 for 3-2.
180.
Match
And you
number
require
4.
57.
This to in leg number 5. Double 10.
Game
In
shot
it
on a fifth
goes.
flag.
Davidson
Andy
leads
Davidson.
3-2.
Sixth flag, it's Aidan to throw first. Game on.
Well, I was
100.
doing some muslings over on Twitter earlier on today, Scott, and I was talking about the profile of the ADC players as Davidson finds his third max of the match, and I was
84.
mentioning that in the past, the validity of qualifiers from the ADC to the Super Series had been questioned, but the likes of Andy, the likes of Tom Sykes, Tom Lonsdale, Jimmy Van Schie, etc. have almost confirmed the necessity of it. And the pool of talent to pick from really has never been bigger.
Yeah, that's a great statement. Yeah, it is. And
140.
and the best bit is they all want to be here. That's the point. They all want to be here and get their chance and their day in the limelight or 2 days in the limelight.
81.
Could finish it for 12 dart if he can find the bull.
56. Aidan, you require 117.
Tops. Ooh, that
82.
dragged wide, and that could be the
And
end
you
of the night for
require
Aidan Kirk.
25.
Davidson 25 for the match. Double 8 for a 4-2 win.
Game shot
Double 8 is
and the
found for a
match,
4-2
Andy
win with a
Davidson.
dart with the flight being ejected out of the board. But Andy Davidson, well, there's no ejection for him. It's elation. He's into the finals. On debut, the terrific Tartan Terrier is into the big night. That's the tail of the tape from our final game of the session. We're going to have a little chat with Andy now, myself and Scotty Dog, after this short break. Well, we have got Andy Davidson alongside us up here in the studio for the end of our action on Friday night here at the Super Series. It just feels like this week just gets better and better for yourself.
You could say that. You really could say that. I mean, I'm gobsmacked how I'm playing, to be quite honest. You know, I felt a lot of pressure in my first game today, I must admit that. But after that, I felt I played pretty good tonight, actually, to be honest. The trebles were flowing and thankfully hit some doubles for a change.
When you say gobsmacked about the way you've played, in what sense?
Well, I'm a complete novice to this compared to the other players that are playing this week. You know, even if you look at Group A, B, and C, I am the novice out of all of us. Let's be honest. So, I'm just doing my best and trying to enjoy it and just again see how they go.
But the biggest compliment we can pay him, Scott, is the fact that he's on debut here. But you wouldn't tell that he's on debut here.
It looks like you've been here 5 or 6 times before. You're taking everything in your stride. You're doing all the right things at the right moments. You're using the board really, really well. And I actually commented on that earlier because, yeah, we said you're a new guy and nobody really knows where you've been or what you've been doing. And I mentioned that to you in the practice room earlier. But you're still doing the right things at the right times, at the right moments, and going in the right directions. And you can't sort of teach that. You either have to have that as the knowledge that you've played for a long time. So, you know, we're pleased to see it. You know, new face on Monday. Not even I knew who you were on Monday morning. I was looking at your name and going, who's this guy? And by Monday night, you were top of Group A.
Yeah, well, I must admit, I said that to Henry in an earlier interview. I must admit, I was very surprised to be there. But yeah, I do feel I've grown into it throughout the week. I felt really nervous first game tonight because I don't know if it was the first time I felt a little bit of pressure that I was almost expected to win maybe my first couple of games, which is an unusual situation for me to be in, to be quite honest. But yeah, the fact that once I did get those 2 wins, I did settle into it, and yeah, I felt I played good tonight.
At what point did the enjoyment of the experience then turn into, right, okay, something can be had here?
Well, I still don't feel something could be had. It's just, I'm still enjoying it. That's the main thing. And, you know, whether they go well tomorrow night, we'll wait and see. You know, obviously we're playing in front of a crowd. Obviously, I've not had that for the first 5 days. So that'll be somewhat interesting. But yeah, we'll just, again, see how they go again.
That's a situation where you don't make it more than it is.
Exactly.
You're on the same throw. It's the same hockey. It's the same. So try not to sort of worry about things like that. The ship in at Dalkeith, will they be watching tomorrow? Will the YouTube be up on the telly?
Well, I hope so. We'll wait and see. I've had messages from a lot of the guys from the ship throughout the week, which is lovely, to be quite honest. The fact I'm supported from, obviously it's not a short journey to get down here. So yeah, it's nice to see the comments, to be quite honest.
Well, we're going to have another chat with you in just a second. First things first, we're going to round up what we've seen this evening. These are the results from our 10 matches. If you have just joined us here late on this Friday night going into the early hours of Saturday morning. So those are the results. This is how then it ends up in terms of the league standings. I think you're going to like the look of this, Andy, when we show you the league table, because you're top of it. 14 points to your name, 4 points clear of the rest of the field. We just cannot get rid of the smile of your face, can we?
Well, I'm looking at the table now, and I'm still surprised to see myself there. I mean, I must feel for Scott. I've had 2 pretty awesome games against him, to be fair. But yeah, I'm just enjoying it, Henry. That's the main thing. And well, yeah, and I'll do the exact same tomorrow. It's not going to change. I'm not going to expect anything of myself. Yes, I feel I've played really well the last 2 days, but hey, tomorrow's a new day, and we'll just see how they go again.
For me, once you've started playing like you are, for the first time, whether it's your first time or not, it means that you know now that you can do it. Mm-hmm. It's not something that you haven't done and you dream of doing it. Now you've been doing it. You've been doing it against some of the best players that come to this Super Series. So there's no reason why not. There really is no reason why not. It's all about you now, mate. It's all about you and what's between the ears and what you allow yourself to do.
That's it. Well, I've always filled myself with positive thoughts, because even after my first game yesterday, when I lost to Aiden, and my God, I don't think that board had doubles on it, to be quite honest. But yeah, I actually felt really good, and my scoring was still quite good in that game. So I just thought, you'll give yourself chances after that. So yes, I had an off game in the doubles. every dart player has that though. So yeah, I just felt really good. I felt really relaxed on stage, and yeah, fingers crossed for tomorrow.
We're going to have one last chat with you in just a second, but we're going to have a look at the groups for tomorrow evening. And Scott, I just want to get your initial thoughts. Andy's going to be in Group 2 with Devon and Scott Taylor. Group 1, Tommy Moyes, Aidan Kirk and Richard Rowlands.
Well, the way that all the guys have played this week, I don't think there's a good or bad group. There's two really good groups there with two really good dynamics to it. So I think that I am going to be absolutely looking forward to tomorrow night. And yeah, we will see how this man goes.
So this week has been an incredible week for yourself. You laid yourself some small goals, just realistic goals going through. Right, now you're here tomorrow night in front of a crowd. Do you dare to dream?
Maybe, who knows? Again, I'll just approach it like I have done the other 5 days I've been here. Just prepare the exact same I've done the last 2 days, especially because I feel playing Thursday, Friday, I felt relaxed on stage more than I did on Monday through to Wednesday. So yeah, I'll prepare the exact same, and again, I know I say it a lot, but see how they go. Essentially, that's it.
We're going to see how they go tomorrow. Congratulations tonight. Congratulations this week. Thank you for popping up and joining us, Scott. See you tomorrow evening as well. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow evening as well. 7:30 we kickstart on the Super Series YouTube channel to see who the 11th name in the Champions Week hat is going to be. The defending champion Scott Taylor is in with a chance of retaining the title that he won back in February. But as far as Group B is concerned, well, it was Andy Davidson, the man that tops the lot.